Hello everybody, Animation Trainer here, and today we're going to talk about Ratchet and Clank. So, Ratchet and Clank is one of those animated films this year that I didn't end up seeing until right now. And the reason for that is I do not want to see bad movies in theaters. In fact, I didn't even see Norm in theaters because, well, I did not want to deal with it. So I waited till I could watch it at home. Because I don't want to waste my money to go see a film that's awful. Yeah, that's pretty much why. So, Ratchet and Clank was not that bad though. It is not the worst animated film. But, is it a bad movie? Oh yes it is. Yes. Ratchet and Clank is definitely a bad movie. One of the main problems with Ratchet and Clank is that everything after the big exposition, like the rising action, the entire part of the rising action is just so bland and boring. In fact, this is one of the most boring films I have ever seen. The main part with the mission is just so bland that it was at the point where I just did not want to deal with it anymore. Like, I was literally, just thinking of other things rather than watching this movie. And many times in my head, I was thinking, are we done yet? Another problem I have with the film is just the predictability. It's pretty much your typical underdog story where Ratchet wants to become a space ranger. They don't let him. They let him. Then later on, after he does something, they let him become a space ranger and he saves the world. Yeah. We've heard that story before. I mean, sure, we haven't heard about the space rangers part of the story, but we've definitely heard this underdog story before plenty of times. Yeah. And this film is just absolutely predictable. And to add all that, it takes a lot of elements from Star Wars. What, you want to be Star Wars or something, Ratchet and Clank? Come on. The main villain wants to use like a machine to blow up planets? Come on. As if that's not the Death Star. Come on. You can't just take things from Star Wars. Not to mention that they even use some Star Wars references as well. Like Clank tries to be C3PO one time, and he made a reference saying, "Oh, the odds of surviving this are 1 to something." Or yeah, pretty much. This movie just wants to be Star Wars. Yeah. This movie is not only bland, but also tries to be Star Wars, and it's predictable. But let me talk about the parts that aren't extremely boring. The exposition, the climax, and the falling action as well. The beginning of the film isn't that boring. In fact, this is one of the only interesting parts about the story. And even then, this is where the most predictable things happen. Where Ratchet wants to be a space ranger and all that. Yeah. And the climax. I mean, sure, the action is nothing special. I mean, nothing appeals or anything. But I will admit that it at least keeps me into it rather than just boring me. Yeah, I guess. But it's still one of the most boring stories ever made. I mean, big time. It definitely is. and that's all like really. Oh, I didn't even talk about the characters yet. Some of these characters are absolutely hateable, like the captain. Like, and I'm gonna go ahead and go on a spoilage simply because who wants to go see this movie? Who wants to go see this movie? So what happens is the captain becomes evil just so that he'll be loved. How selfish is that? He is one of the most heartless characters I've seen in the film. And Ratchet, he's honestly one of the more likable ones. I mean, he's not hateable, but like, he's still pretty bland. And Clank, I don't think he's like a terrible character, but one thing I do hate about his character is that he's a big know-it-all, and not even a funny one either. Like I just hate that about him. Yeah. But I'm gonna be a little bit nicer to the movie simply because it's based off a video game, and of course it wouldn't be that good. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little nicer for that idea. I mean, maybe it would be better if they were just trying to make a movie about space rangers trying to save the planet rather than just making it based off a PlayStation game. Yeah, maybe that would help it a little bit better. But it's no excuse for the bad plot. I mean, even if the plot was this bad in the games, at least video games aren't meant to have the greatest story. Like, Mario doesn't even have a story that's that good. I mean, all it is you have to go and rescue Princess Peach, and that's it. But the gameplay works. That's why the PS2 and 3 games work. But here, in the movie, when you try to do that, it just doesn't work. Yeah. Overall, I give this movie a 5 out of 10. And I didn't mention any of the good things, so I'll say I'm here. And it's that at least the animation is decent. Sure, the designs don't look that well, and everything isn't that well rendered. And plus, yeah, but the animation is decent for what it is. I mean, it's not like extremely good or anything. No, it's not Kung Fu Panda good or Zootopia good. It's just okay. Yeah. And another thing, a positive I'll give to it is that at least all the game, like the references and the mechanics that they used in the game did work well here. But other than that, this movie is pretty bad. Not garbage, but like, it's bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. In fact, other than Norm, this is what I'd say is the worst film this year, so far from what I've reviewed. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. So, goodbye.